BYJU'S now, which has been in the news for all the wrong reasons of late, but Byju Raveendran can now look at some sort of relief, at least in the interim. The Karnataka High Court has now given relief to BYJU'S founder from any ruling or resolution that could come out of that extraordinary general meeting slated for tomorrow, Friday, day after tomorrow, the Friday, wherein, remember, the investors have called this meeting to oust the founder, his wife, as well as his brother from the current board. The restructuring of the board and the change of guard is what investors are hoping to get and achieve from that Friday resolution. But Karnataka High Court stating that wait for the final order before you move against Byju Raveendran. So some relief for at least the next 20 days. 15th of March is the next hearing.
That's correct. So which means that Byju Raveendran is continuing to fight this, even as there's talk of them wanting to expand the board, which currently consists of only Byju Raveendran, his wife Divya Gokulnath, and his brother Riju Raveendran. So this is, Byju Raveendran is certainly not giving up without a fight, and in a sense that he's taken the matters to the court. Court has given him relief, and there are two things he's happy about. One is the fact that he wants to expand the board to include more people than just his own family, and that will give more credibility to the board, because right now it feels like a family operation. Absolutely. As far as the board is concerned. And second thing is that the rights issue that's been fully subscribed, so that he's harping on the fact that there's now fresh infusion of capital, money that's come in for the revival of BYJU'S. So it looks like, if it felt as if all these investors and stakeholders are tightening the noose around BYJU'S, Byju Raveendran is ensuring that like this, he's not going to go down without a fight.
Any relief is good relief, but in all of this, and we break down some of the developments that have emerged in the past 24 hours, Krishna, ED has also sent out a lookout circular for Byju Raveendran. He is not allowed to, by which it means he's not allowed to leave the country, he's not allowed to move overseas before ED and its investigation into Byju and Byju Raveendran, of course, concludes. So it doesn't look like it's all working out for him, even if it's a temporary relief from Karnataka High Court.
At the beginning of this week, it felt as if this EGM or Extraordinary General Meeting is going to be called on Friday, is meant for the ouster of BYJU'S. And from the headlines, it might have seemed as if it's going to be end game for Byju Raveendran come this Friday. One is that it's not going to be this Friday, or it's not going to be the next Friday. It's not going to be until the 13th or the 15th of March, until any kind of end game can even begin for Byju Raveendran. That's what this latest development means. None of this means that troubles surrounding BYJU'S, the trouble surrounding Byju Raveendran and his decisions and his actions so far have gone away. Because look at what BYJU'S has happened to BYJU'S recently. It gave up a 4.5 lakh square feet office space at Prestige Park in Bengaluru. It's one of its biggest offices, simply because it couldn't pay the lease. And in fact, the Prestige Group was in fact taking out the latest lease rentals from the safety deposit that was even given by BYJU'S in the first place. So, the troubles for BYJU'S have not ended. What is happening right now with the Karnataka HC's relief to Byju Raveendran is the fact that if people wanting to oust him, they can't oust him as quickly as they would ideally want to.
Absolutely.
So that's what it means. But yes, there is the ED lookout circular, as you're rightly pointing out. There is the continuing financial troubles for BYJU'S. But in the meanwhile, there is the rights issue that's come in. So,
I think the only glimmer of hope at this point that there's some money to run the daily operations.
That is one glimmer of hope, and the other is the fact that he can't be ousted tomorrow or the next Friday.
So next 3 consecutive Fridays.
Correct.
At least. March is when the hearing for Byju Raveendran in Karnataka High Court is expected to continue, and thereafter until the final order, Karnataka High Court stating very categorically any resolution that comes out of this EGM will not be applicable, will be ineffective. So some temporary relief for Byju Raveendran right now in the interim, but not all is looking well. ED continues its investigation into FEMA violations by BYJU'S as a group, and Byju Raveendran in particular facing the heat to step down. He's not doing so just as yet. We will continue getting more updates on that story.